Tunis, Serbia. This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup European Qualifiers. This game day 6, and it is Serbia taking on Belgium.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tunis on the match of the 6th round of World Cup qualifiers between the national.
Well, here we are, Group A. You see Latvia up at the top at 5-1. They don't want to be missing out on the World Cup for the second straight time. Belgium are 3-2, and Serbia are 3-2. Both of these teams ahead of Slovakia. Of course, Latvia piled on the misery for Slovakia earlier today, and now it's all about Belgium and Serbia. And really the key talking point here is that these teams know they're headed to the second round, but they need wins. They need wins to accumulate. Every single game matters in this qualifying competition. And you cannot, you do not want to be going into your last game fretting over whether or not you have enough wins, although a lot of people, a lot of teams will be. So it goes without saying that these two teams are going to trade blows in what is a crucial game. And you also have to remember that Belgium won the first meeting 73-69 on November 28th in the first window. Serbia lost that game after winning 101-100 at home in Belgrade over Latvia. So some heavyweight players here tonight. Of course, for Serbia, and familiar faces, Nemanja Bjelica, Petrusev coming out tonight. You see big Boban Marjanovic. That changes a lot of things for any team that goes up against Serbia when Marjanovic is out there because of his rim protection, because of his ability to catch the ball high and go to work down low against defenses. So Svetislav Pešić will be certainly pleased with some of the additions, yet he knows that Belgium are here on a mission, and Belgium, coming off the high of a big win over Slovakia, want this to be a very productive window. It's all about grit. It's all about determination. It's all about experience. It's all about playing for your country. And we're now going to pause for the playing of the national anthems for both Belgium and Serbia.
A sada himna Republike Srbije u izvođenju Akademskog ženskog hora Studentskog kulturnog centra Niš. Dirigentkinja hora Ivana Mirović. The referees are Johan Rousseau from France, Thomas Visuel from France, Peter Brach from
So the coaches and players shake hands after the national anthem. Svetislav Pezic and Dario Djurdjic need no introduction, of course. Djurdjic coaching in Belgium with Ostend. Pezic, the legendary coach. Johan Rousseau, Thomas
Visuel, and Peter Brach, the referees for tonight. Johan Rousseau, the crew chief, in the middle. Visuel, his fellow Frenchman, to the left. And you really think about whenever you come to Serbia, just wow, just the memories, the legendary moments of basketball in this area. They've produced so many incredible teams, incredible players, incredible coaches. It is a cauldron as well for the fans. They love it. They breathe the game. If basketball is a second religion in Lithuania, it certainly has to be a second religion here as well. I mean, there is a lot of passion. Of course, the best player in the world, you probably think Nikola Jokic as well, two-time NBA MVP. He's not with the team tonight, but he is Serbian. So Manu Lecomte, Maxime Dezeu, Hans Panwan, Ismail Bako, and Retin Obasohan in the starting five. Quentin Saron, Louis Schwartz, John Salomo, Kevin Tumble's back, Alex Liber, Paris Pertanovic, and Coach Djurdjic there. Also Vander Hagen in the squad tonight. And Djurdjic is, well, he's Croatian, but I dare say a lot of people would consider him an adopted Belgian because he has lived in that country for quite some time. He's it's a natural transition for him to become the coach with all the great work that he's done with many of the players in the Belgian team. Nemanja Dangubic, Nemanja Bjelica, Vanja Marinkovic, Onyan Djarmas, and Boban Marjanovic in the starting five tonight. Filip Petrusev, Davidovic, Ristic, Todorovic, Uskovic, Simonic, and Abramovic coming off the bench for coach Svetislav Pezic. And just speaking personally, I've seen Svetislav Pezic in action numerous times. I've spoken to him and I'm blown away by him. I mean, how he has been able to sustain his coaching excellence for so long. He's been able to turn programs around. He's just a winner. And for him, really, it's the mental side of things, but also it's all about basics. And his teams are always prepared to take on the rigors. And I mean, everybody knows that he fully expects this Serbia team to get to the FIBA Basketball World Cup in Indonesia, Japan, and Philippines next year. But the reality is Serbia basketball fell to Belgium in the first encounter, and they trailed them in the standings coming into this last game of the first round for both teams at 3-2. So he would like to get one over on Dario Djurdjic. Very complimentary of how hard Belgium played. It's been an emotional window for Belgium when you consider that Sam van Rossum also announced his international retirement. So it is a new generation. Slowly but surely it happens in international basketball with national teams, and that's why it's just imperative that while you have the veterans, you also have the infusion of youth coming into the programs, and you also have to have those good young national teams. Those kids need a place to play, and well, we've seen a lot of progress from Belgium over the years. They don't have quite the same pedigree. They'd be the first to admit it as Serbia, but they do have equal-sized hearts. You better believe that. These guys believe they can win. So we are in for a good one tonight.
We're underway in Nice, the FIBA Basketball World Cup European Qualifiers. The game between Serbia and Belgium. Serbia in the white, winning the opening tip, attacking the basket to the right. Boban Marjanovic, again, how important is he going to be tonight? I think very important. And Nemanja Bjelica takes the first shot and misses from the left corner, and Manu Lecomte brings it up the floor. And the boos raining down on Belgium. Obasohan passes to the middle. And the pass goes right back outside for the first three-pointer of the game. Maxime Dzeu shoots it well for a big fella. Baco coming off that great season at Baxi Manresa in Spain. Here's Marjanovic. Now Lecomte, you see his pace adds a different dimension to Dzeu. He's hit one, now he comes out and, well, I think as the coach, you give him that shot because he just hit one if he's feeling it. Now the three-point attempt is good. We got a tie game. Vanja Marinkovic. You talk about youth team national team stars. Well, he was one for Serbia, and now he's up with the big boys. Here is Obasohan using his body to good effect. This will be interesting to see how they adjust to playing Retin Obasohan, because of his strength, his ability to go one-on-one, and in his own words, how he likes to get his feet wet. He likes to get into the paint. Good things happen when you get your feet wet. You're attacking, you're passing, and in his case, he's getting a three-point play. Now reach, Dzeu called for the foul. Of course, so many, you know, the rise of Belgian basketball. You go back to the FIBA Eurobasket as Dzeu bumps Bjelica. Go back to Eurobasket 2011 when the Lions made it back. So many people have given so much to Belgian basketball. Eddie Casteels for so long, and so many players. And there is fervent support for these Lions back in Belgium. They'll be watching this game. Jeremias drives in. His attempt no good, but he follows up the miss. And Marjanovic not able to grab the rebound. Baco with the quick jump to knock it away. Oh, what a pass. And then the dunk attempt almost from Fun Wine, but he missed. And now Bjelica gets in and is tripped up. Hans van Wijn thought he might have a dunk, and so Dzeu, well, he's there, he's out. I think he's outside the circle. The question is, well, they definitely called the foul on him, so I guess just the players slow getting up, and Bjelica is going to get a couple of free throws. So Dzeu is going to go out. He's going to limp out. So Jean Salamou checks into the game. And you talk about shooting lights out. Well, looks like the lights have gone out. But it didn't come with a shot. So they need to flip the switch and make sure we got a little bit more light here. So we're going to have a slight delay here. Apologies, folks. It's out of my hands. Never know. Could always have the odd cat roaming around. Might have tripped on a wire or something. But as we look back at the campaigns for both of these teams, it's been interesting because Belgium actually had a terrific start to their campaign. They started with a big win at Slovakia, Levice, 83-57, and then they returned home 3 days later on November 28th and won 73-69 over Serbia. And then some of the shine came off in the next window. Despite playing exceptionally well, or playing well, Belgium lost at home in Mons, 66-65, just a 1-point defeat. Just shows how balanced this group is to Latvia. And then Latvia beat them the second time in Riga, the great basketball city of Riga, at the Arena Riga. Another bucket list item for all of you to click off one day. Go there. Latvia won that game 68-63. So Belgium came into this looking to get some momentum back, and they did on Thursday, winning 102-59 over Slovakia. Now, in that game, they had a great performance by the unheralded, I have to say, Alexandre Lebert, who is just a really nifty point guard. He had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. So that was it for Belgium. Now for Serbia, you already know that they had the early loss both to Belgium. Well, they had the early loss to Belgium, but they had opened with that 1-point win over Latvia. And then in the February window, Serbia had it their own way. They won 75-63 over Slovakia. I commentated that game, and it was, I'll tell you what, it was an impressive performance by Slovakia. I mean, they've been on the wrong end of some big margins of victories. So it's been a little, grim at times for Slovakia, but when they put it all together, they're very competitive. And then Serbia played them again and won 71-63. Now, when they met Latvia again, this time in this window, Latvia won that game 66-59. And that was at the Arena Riga. And of course, Dejan Davidovic had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals to lead Serbia, but it wasn't enough. Despite they had the halftime lead, Serbia's biggest issue was they just came unstuck in the third quarter when Latvia outscored them 21-7. So it was a disappointment for them. Also helped Latvia that they had Davis Bertans with his 8 points, 5 rebounds in that game. Coming back from the NBA, Chavars and Grazulis each with 10 points, and Artur Kurz had 13 points. Serbia, meanwhile, got 12 points from Marinkovic, Avramovic, who's really been one of their star players for all of the European qualifiers dating back to the last World Cup. He had 16 points in just over 27 minutes. But they were the only Serbia players that got to double digits, and Bjelica had just 1 point. He was 0-3 from the floor. And so Svetislav Pezic has had to go back to the drawing board. Now, you talk about Nikola Jokic. He's not here. He's the best player in the world. It's a window where I guess they would like to have the 2-time reigning MVP in this window, but it hasn't happened. Even so, Serbia will be thinking that they can win this game tonight, but it has been, as expected, a very competitive start for Belgium, who have gotten out to a 6-3 lead. That 3-point play that was just scored by Ratin Obasohan. So Belgium so far getting on top. And while we've got the delay, just go over some of the other action that we've had in this window for the qualifiers. We had today, well, a new European qualifiers record, 38 points by Dennis Schroeder for Germany, as they won 93-83. It was actually a closer game than that final score indicates over Poland. And Israel romping to victory over Estonia. So Israel will be moving into that next round. Croatia in a vital game not far from here against Finland, trailing 45-40. And we had Latvia, of course, roll to a big win over Slovakia, 93-60. Slovenia in just an absolute thriller of a game. I don't know what Sweden did wrong to displease the basketball gods, but they've done something because they have lost some heartbreakers. They need to open up a heartbreak hotel in that town. It'll do gangbuster business because they lost another heartbreaker tonight, having lost a double overtime classic to Croatia in the last window. Sweden fell 84-81 to the Luka Doncic inspired Slovenia team, which once again got a terrific performance from Goran Dragic, who has come out of retirement to play for Slovenia. Turkey winning 85-71 over Great Britain. Iceland, of course, on Friday won their thriller of a game, 67-66 over the Netherlands. Czech Republic won 93-81 with Tomas Satoranski back in the fold over Bosnia-Herzegovina. And Spain rolling to a big win over North Macedonia, 80-44. Montenegro with the big surprise, perhaps at home, edging France 70-69. Remember, Montenegro were the country with the smallest population at the last FIBA Basketball World Cup, so they continue to do terrific stuff. And Lithuania edging Bulgaria 72-70, despite a terrific performance by Alexander Vezinkov. Hungary edged also Portugal 69-68, and Poland won in overtime against Israel. So as you can see, we're still having some issues here in Nice. It looked like the power was coming back on, then it went back off. So hopefully this is going to be resolved soon. And Great Britain have lost both of their games. They fell to Greece 93-71 in their first game, and then today they fell to Turkey. And also Germany rolled to a big win over Estonia last week. Finland actually came back from a big deficit to beat Sweden. Germany edged Israel. Excuse me, that was back in February. So I think you're all up to date as we await the resumption of this game here in Nice. So hoping that this is going to start going soon. Serbia and Belgium, of course, will be at the FIBA Eurobasket, which is going to be played this summer. And you will have Belgium playing in Tbilisi in the group with Montenegro, Georgia, of course, Spain, Belgium, and themselves, rather, Bulgaria and Turkey. And Serbia, meanwhile, will be in Group D with Netherlands, Finland, Poland, Czech Republic, and Israel. That's in Prague. So those two great cities are going to have a lot of great basketball. Tbilisi and Prague, and of course, in Cologne, Germany, the primary hosts. They've got Hungary, Slovenia, Lithuania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and France, and also in Milan for Group C there will be Greece, Estonia, Ukraine, Great Britain, Croatia, and Italy as well. So all of these teams with the new competition system, which came in 2017 with qualifiers, with qualifying windows. This is the first summer where you have a couple of windows, I think, before, or with right before you have two windows before the FIBA Eurobasket. And I guess that in one sense, one thing that was highlighted was that, well, they're going to be playing competitive games. They're going to be ready to go once the Eurobasket tips off on September 1st. And everybody knows how big the Eurobasket is going to be. But as for the FIBA Basketball World Cup, which is going to be in Indonesia, Japan, and Philippines, you're going to have 32 teams. And just as a reminder, you've got 12 teams that are going to go from Europe. That's the most of any region, but that's obvious. You got more teams here, and probably most neutrals would say that we also may be the strongest region in terms of competitiveness. The teams, we had Spain win 2006, 2019. You always have the European teams battling for spots on the podium. You also had France reach the podium at the last 2 FIBA Basketball World Cups. Serbia reached the podium, reached the final, in fact, in 2014. And going on and on back. This is FIBA celebrating its 90th birthday this year. So if you go to the FIBA.basketball website and you go to the section called FIBA 90, you can go back and read up on a lot of the history of international basketball and the events and what have you, and not just men's basketball but women's basketball, and also important happenings. And but as for the men's competitions, obviously Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslavia, one of the dominant sides in the history of the competition, and Serbia obviously were also part of Yugoslavia. So those former republics now independent nations, and Slovenia, one of the powerhouses now with Luka Doncic and Goran Dragic, who again has come out of his international retirement at the age of 36. So going to catch my breath here as we await the return of the lights, and it's going to be interesting to hear what team is impacted the most by this, if any team at all is going to be impacted in a negative way, in a positive way. But it does seem like there is a little more light on the court. So, and that famous phrase, "let there be light," I would like to utter that right now so we can get this thing cracking again between Serbia and Belgium. Belgium winning the first encounter back in the opening window, and here they are again. Serbia coming off of a loss this time against Latvia. Belgium got back to winning ways with their second win over Slovakia, and they're now doing a layup drill, Serbia, and I would assume that we might see something similar from Belgium here, unless they're just resting up. And just a quick check on some of the other results. Got there's Predrag Danilovic, one of the legends of Serbian basketball in the blue shirt, President Federation. And we've got Finland on top of Croatia, 57-52 with 4:18 remaining. So I'm guessing there are probably a few people up in Sweden that are watching that game and wondering if the Susi Yingi can hold on and do them a favor by beating Croatia and get Sweden into the second round at least. It's going to be awfully difficult for either Croatia or Sweden to advance to the FIBA Basketball World Cup, even if they get to the second round, because of the lack of wins that they've been able to get in the first round. And that's one thing that has really been stressed from the very beginning. You might punch your ticket for the second round pretty quickly in these European qualifiers or in the World Cup qualifiers, whatever zone you're in, but you better also get as many wins as possible. Don't just rest or lose your focus after you've clinched your spot, because those wins will carry over. So again, folks, this game has been temporarily delayed, as you can see on the strip there on TV, due to a technical issue, i.e. the lights. And we were just a few minutes into this game when it had to be stopped. Both these teams coming into this contest with 3 wins and 2 defeats. So, you know, that's a decent position to be in, I'd say. Not a great position. I mean, if Finland get a win tonight and go, you know, they improve to 5-1, that will be a great position, I would think, to get them back to the FIBA Basketball World Cup for the first time since 2014, when they took 10,000 fans, screaming Susi Yengi fans, to Bilbao to cheer on their national team. And it really beggars belief, well, as speaking as a neutral, that Croatia, just one of the traditional powerhouses with so many legends in their system, the late Drazen Petrovic, you know, Toni Kukoc, Dino Raja, and even with guys like Bojan Bogdanovic, it's just hard to believe that they're not there, that they're still struggling, because they have got a lot of good basketball players. And we saw a lot of them the other night against Slovenia, but these days anybody who goes up against Slovenia when Luka Doncic is in the lineup, and then you had Goran Dragic, that's a tough opponent. And my heart just sank a little bit, because I think the lights went out again. So I don't know what this means. Might we play this by candlelight? First European qualifier by candlelight. It's just a joke that probably nobody appreciates. But the lighting is still lit up there on the sidelines with the advertising. So I don't fully understand what's going on with the lights here in Nice. So this is well, not good, but all I can say is patience is a virtue. So hopefully you guys are patient, because I know you want to watch some good basketball tonight. I'm going to have a sip of water, and then I'll so these expectant fans here having to wait for, you name it. You know, you go back to 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup, and you remember the Serbia team that showed up. I think a lot of people thought, myself included, that they could win it. I really did. I did not think Spain would win it. So I was proved wrong, and I'm usually picking Spain for a lot of these events, but I did not. I thought that Serbia probably had the best chance out of anybody to go on and win that title, because they had Nikola Jokic, who was coming into his own, and they had Bogdan Bogdanovic. Of course, they had Sasa Djordjevic, who was coaching, and he had led them to the Olympic final in Rio, and they've been to the Eurobasket final in Istanbul in 2017, and it just felt like the time was right for Serbia to get it done. They had Nemanja Bjelica, Miroslav Raduljica, Vladimir Lucic, Stefan Birčević, Nikola Militunov, Vasilija Micic, Marko Guduric, Stefan Jovic, and they have Marjanovic, who's here tonight, Marcus Simonovic. But as everybody probably remembers, they fell in a tough game to Argentina. An Argentina team that had Luis Scola, that had Facundo Campazzo, that had just a terrific backcourt. Scola was playing out of his skin in his last FIBA Basketball World Cup, and you also don't want to forget that Scola was the link to the 2002 Argentina team that made it to the final in Indianapolis, and then lost in overtime to Serbia. So that was no doubt kind of unforgettable for Argentina in a
well, I wouldn't say in a good way. They did win the title 2 years later when they were at the Olympics. And I hope these boos are a good sign that maybe something's going to happen, because so far nothing seems to happen. But so you go back to the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup. They're playing in Dongguan, this amazing arena. Serbia showed up. And there was no question that Argentina were not the team that people expected them to be before that FIBA Basketball World Cup. And lo and behold, Facundo Campazzo, who happens to be now Nikola Jokic's teammate in Denver, engineered one of the great wins in Argentina basketball history with 18 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. The only thing he didn't do was get a block in that game. And Argentina won. Jokic had 16 points, 10 rebounds himself, 5 assists. But, you know, it was a bitter, bitter disappointment for that Serbia team, who, quite frankly, they were outplayed, especially down the stretch. And it was just an amazing turn of events. Gabriel Deck really kind of emerged as a key player for Argentina. And Scola obviously was having a big game, and La Provitola also having a terrific World Cup for Argentina. So Argentina marched on and made it to the semifinals, and then, just to show you how good they were, they beat France, who had knocked out, you know, the perennial favorites at FIBA Basketball World Cups and Olympics, USA, in the quarterfinals. So it's nice in a way when you have some unpredictability going into FIBA Basketball World Cups. And we certainly had that at the last World Cup, which was staged in China and was played in 8 different cities. If you turn the clock back, I would say the World Cup that stands out to me the most as being the best. And I don't know, I'm not sure how you would ever say one World Cup is better than the other, but for me, it was 2006. And it was especially because of the day that the semifinal day, when in that first game Greece beat the USA 101-95. Not just because of the fact that Greece won that game, although that was pretty incredible, watching them follow up the Eurobasket title the year before. It was pretty exceptional. So it was exceptional also because Spain beat Argentina. They edged them right at the death. Andres Nacioni almost won the game, or had a chance to win the game for Argentina. So the boos still raining down here in the crowd, becoming a little impatient as the crowd awaits the lights to come back on. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes you just have to roll with the punches, and that's what we want to do tonight. So the fans are definitely ready for the resumption of this game. One thing that's been really special about this FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers in this window, as we have seen the return of so many great players to their national teams, and it just goes to show how even more special it becomes when these guys are able to link up with their teams. And you know, talking about Dennis Schroeder, for example, scoring a European qualifiers record 38 points today against Poland. I mean, that was a performance for the ages, really, today. Obviously, it's just magical to see Doncic back with Slovenia, along with Goran Dragic. It's just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Trust me, it's really that much fun watching these guys play. It's been incredible watching Lauri Markkanen come back and play for Finland. The Susi Ying is so desperate to get back to the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And if they're going to make it, obviously Lauri Markkanen will be one of the biggest stars at the event. And I can tell you that Croatia now leading that game by a point early in the fourth quarter. So Finland have won 4 of their 5 games. But that's one incredible athlete that we're glad to see back. Who else are we glad to see back? How about Tomas Satoransky? I mean, how can you not like this guy as a player, as a person? He, you know, I hope he gets into as many Hall of Fames as possible, because he deserves it. He came back with a double-double the other night, leading the Czech Republic to a 93-81 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Of course, Alexander Vezinkov, you know, plays for Olympiacos. Wasn't it great to see him come back and play for his national team? And you see the difference it makes for basketball in Bulgaria to see him back. I mean, he was amazing, and it's incredible that they still lost, even though he had 29 points, 11 rebounds. But they lost 72-70 to Lithuania, who are unbeaten. And I've already talked about Dennis the Menace. How about the fabulous Frenchmen, seeing them coming back? Theo Maledon of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was able to play in this window, along with Vincent Poirier of Real Madrid and Elio Kobo of Asvel, 2 teams that play in the EuroLeague. And it's just great to see them come back and play for their national teams, and they've been able to do so in this window. Now, the proof, I'm sure that, you know, when they play their home game for France, that'll be even better. But you know, it's all about Facundo Campazzo, for example, seeing him play for Argentina against Venezuela the other night, you know, scoring almost 30 points, leading them back to this incredible win. They were down 14 points, and Facundo Campazzo had a performance for the ages in that game, and that was in Venezuela. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing for Canada, doing an exceptional job there as well. So it's been a great window, and dare I say, this will end up being a great game once it gets going. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that these lights are going to stay on, so we can indeed get back on track, because we had a great start to the game. The intensity was there, everything that you wanted. Now, I'm just wondering if they might start this thing over, because I was looking at the recent. Okay, no. So we do have 6-3 to Belgium. A three made by Vanja Marinkovic from Serbia. We had a 3 from Maxime Zayu, and we also had a 3-point play by Retin Obasohan for Belgium. And Zayu left the court after a collision under the basket with Nemanja Bjelica, and it makes you wonder if he's had time to get loosened up so he can come back out and play. So hopefully, for Belgium fans anyway, he will be able to go the rest of the way. But I'll tell you what, this arena, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks about as bright as this looked in the past hour. This has happened to me before once, or a couple times, in fact, with shattered backboards. It's the first time I've run into a situation where calling the game and the lights have gone out for this long. How about a glow-in-the-dark ball, glow-in-the-dark rims, and let's just try something new next time until you get the lights back on. That would be entertaining. So I believe the referees are indeed going to resume proceedings here. As the teams go through their warm-ups. I don't think this is something that the coaches and the players ever want to happen, but I'm sure coaches have encountered this type of situation before, and they will know the mental, perhaps, challenge more than the physical challenge that it might present for their teams to have such a long delay. You know, in some sports, you might have weather delays outside, but in basketball, typically, this is one of the advantages, is that you stay dry, but unfortunately this has happened, and I'm guessing that this will be urgently reviewed after the game in terms of what went wrong for the power outage, so they can make sure it doesn't happen again. So I would assume that we're very, very close. And I'm guessing that you want to hear me talk about basketball rather than other things. But what I can say is the lights are definitely on. I can say that Croatia are now up by 4 points on Finland, so that's not good news for Sweden. Could this be a great escape that Croatia are about to pull off and then get to the second round and do something special? Get their second win. So Belgium has returned to the bench, so it looks like we're about ready to start. Those two gentlemen are having a good chuckle in the camera. Do you see them in the stands? I think they're looking up at the camera. I know we're talking about them. So Dario Georgia has probably been there, seen it, done it all, and now he is getting ready to try to get his team's focus back as much as possible. Execution. And what about Serbia? Serbia, I think, has the advantage of having this crowd behind them, but now the crowd might just be a little bit testy, a little bit angry, a little bit less patient, and they might want to see, might demand better from them. And you know, how will this Serbia team respond? Now remember, Serbia hosted the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament in Belgrade and recently for the Tokyo Olympics, and lost at home. Did not win that one. That was Italy that won, and that was not well received. So I do think that the Serbian basketball fans' patience has been tested from that experience, and they want to see their team come out and get to the World Cup and get back to the podium. So Johan Rosso having words, the crew chief of the referees, having some discussions with the players and the fans, predictably, and I can't blame them. They're ready to go. I'm with you, fans. Let's have a few jeers, a few whistles. So it's early July. Kids do not have to be in school tomorrow, so I'm guessing the parents that have brought their kids to the game tonight aren't going to be stressing out too much over that. Speaking as a father. Could be a late night in Nice. And also, if anybody dozed off before the game or at the start of the game, they're probably back awake now and ready to watch the rest of the game. So from that standpoint, I guess it's a good thing. They're going to be able to see the whole game now. Croatia up on by 4 points on Finland. So this suggests that we are about ready to go back out. So I'm wondering if we're going to start this game now. Decision to restart the game to be made at 9:55 local time. So what I don't know is that throwing up the possibility that it might not be restarted, and that maybe, I'm guessing that the players and the coaches of both teams would rather go ahead and get this thing started. Get it played tonight. But I'm just wondering if there might be a lingering electrical issue which is causing problems. So that's 9:55. So that's local time, so that's another 11 minutes of me mumbling on. So bear with me, folks, as we try to navigate the difficulties, the unexpected difficulties that come up in life. And we just have to remember that, as my dad used to tell me, you could be out digging ditches right now. Just stop complaining. So that's what I would suggest. Is this is a basketball game, and at least we've got a nice wide angle lens that we're looking at, and we can see the players from both ends shooting at the baskets, and the fans. Guessing for the concession business, this is pretty good. People getting some popcorn and whatnot. So again, Croatia, Finland, going down to the wire. I'm fairly certain that the good people of Serbia, even though they're not in Croatia's group, are always interested in what Croatia are doing, what Slovenia are doing, what Bosnia and Herzegovina are doing, the former Soviet Republic, Montenegro. It's just a fascinating part of the world when it comes to basketball. They've got so many, as I mentioned before, great national teams here. Now the lights have just gone out. I would suggest that does not bode well, but I don't want to spoil this. the drama of the decision. Oh, now the fans are starting to sing. Or maybe chant, and I'm not sure that it's a good thing, so maybe it's best that we don't understand what they're saying, but I can tell you that Croatia are now leading 71-67, under 4 minutes to go. So the fans of Croatian basketball, at least tonight, are happy. If the Serbian fans are frustrated and unhappy. And you also feel for Belgium, because they've made the trip here. They were focused. They were ready to go. Now they have to deal with this unwanted distraction. So ask yourself this question: if your team does qualify for the FIBA Basketball World Cup, which country would you like to go to see them play? Would you like to go to Indonesia? Would you like to go to Japan, or would you like to go to Philippines? And of course, Philippines will be hosting the big games at the end. But it does seem that some fans are giving up here as the lights are lowered once again, sadly. And this is the first time it's ever happened for me at a European qualifiers game, doing a European qualifiers game. There's always a first for everything. Dennis Schroeder scoring 38 points today. That was the first time that anybody ever scored that many points in the European qualifiers. Okay, so that announcement was not welcome, but I think it was the same thing. It was the next decision is going to be made about how to move forward at 9:55. Big games being played today, and not just in Europe, but all over the world. And I don't know about you guys, but growing up in America, for me, the best thing ever was the NCAA tournament, watching March Madness. But watching these qualifiers, there's definitely a March Madness type of feel to these games, some unpredictability. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You know, FIBA Basketball World Cup was fantastic in China, 32-team event. I loved it. But you know what I loved even more? I loved the qualifiers. I loved the drama that came out in the qualifiers in Europe and Asia and Africa and in the Americas. It was just unbelievable. And it's also been a lot of fun seeing the fans and the teams, some of the teams that don't make it to the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And in one sense, that's the essence of this new system of competition. Every team has a chance to dream. Every team has a chance to use these qualifiers as a chance to really give them a spark with their basketball programs. So I just, you know, every time I get to commentate games, especially with teams that probably aren't going to go to the FIBA Basketball World Cup or big outsiders, to see the excitement and the joy. For example, today, Sweden, unfortunately for them, they did not win their game against Slovenia, but it was an incredible atmosphere. They had an opportunity, first of all, to watch arguably the hottest player in Europe and one of the hottest players in the world in Luka Doncic, and a great Slovenia team. And they also had a chance to watch Sweden almost win that game. Ultimately, they did not. They lost 74-71, but it was incredible. And I dare say it can only help basketball that you have these qualifiers, because you're getting regular home games for the fans to go out and watch their national teams play. And, you know, you could see the likes of Ludvig Hawkinson, Tobias Boyd, Simon. Let me see, who else was there? I mean, just all of those guys. Gaddefors for Sweden. They were just in, you could see they were in their element. They were treasuring the opportunity to be out there and you know, dreaming of beating a team like Sweden, Slovenia. Simon Bergander, who I was talking about, who had the 15 points and 7 rebounds. Ludvig Hawkinson, you know, he's just a sensational player that has competed in Spain, who really clearly is at that level. It was exciting to watch him. It was also exciting to watch some of those younger players that you might not know that much about, like Melvin Panzer and Pelle Larsson from Sweden. And for Slovenia, you know, they were actually able to go out there and compete, and probably in the biggest game of their lives. I'll go so far as to say that, considering everything, considering how big of a name Luka Doncic is right now, how big of a name Goran Dragic is in the history of European basketball, it was an opportunity, and that can only be good for basketball. So yes, the World Cups are great, and I look forward to going to them whenever I can. But the qualifiers, quite frankly, are just amazing, and they happen so often, it makes it even better. So even though we have a game with no lights right now that we're waiting, that certainly tests our patience. But other than that, I think that we'll probably sit back and laugh about this 10 years from now. We won't be laughing about it tonight, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Croatia up in the final minute by 5 points on Finland, and at the free throw line. So a very gritty performance has been turned in by Croatia after their absolute demolition at the hands of Slovenia the other night. Their backs were against the wall tonight. They were playing the team that was in first place in their group, and they've come back to take a big lead, although they just missed 2 free throws and also committed a foul to stop the clock. So that's going to give Finland an opportunity. And I can tell you that Croatia coach Damir Budimirić is not happy. So Belgium, we talked about them, the retirement of Sam van Wassem. Belgium trying to get to the FIBA Basketball World Cup for the first time. You know, they would love to get to the podium of a major event. not sure they're at that level yet. Just looking back through their history, and I can tell you that they finished as high as 4th at the FIBA Eurobasket in Prague in 1947, and to date that is their best finish. They were 5th. Excuse me, they were, for the longest time they weren't even getting to the FIBA Eurobasket. So their resurgence has really started. In 2011, when they made it to the Eurobasket in, as I mentioned, in 2011 in Lithuania. A solid Eurobasket in 2013 when they came in 9th. They played at the Eurobasket in 2015. They played at the Eurobasket in 2017. So they've become regulars at the Eurobasket. Well, I can say that Finland now have pulled to within 3 points with 48 seconds to go. So what looked like it was going to be almost a done deal for Croatia is now maybe not so much a done deal for Croatia against Finland, excuse me. Actually right now reviewing a potential unsportsmanlike foul against Sasu Salim, one of my favorite Susayingi players. Just fouled the legend in the making, Bojan Bogdanovic, as he crossed midcourt to stop the clock. And I'm guessing that it might be an unsportsmanlike foul, but anyway. We should be having we were supposed to have an announcement 3 minutes ago about whether or not this game was going to take place. And now, so I don't know what the deal is. The players of both teams have gone to midcourt. It could be they're talking about, hey, you guys want to get together for dinner later tonight? What are we going to do after this if the game isn't played? But we are expecting a decision to be made, and we'll get it to you as soon as possible. We thank you for sticking around. You can see the players are mid-court talking, and I'm guessing the fans are waiting. You talk about feeling bad for the players and the coaches and everybody else. They also feel equally bad for the fans if this game doesn't take place, because they've come out tonight wanting to see a great basketball game. It's great to see this wonderful crowd here packing the house in Nice. But sometimes you just have to say it wasn't meant to be if they do end up calling this game off. If you want to be philosophical about it. So tomorrow we're going to have Georgia hosting Spain, North Macedonia taking on Ukraine. That'll be in Riga. Obviously, the situation in Ukraine prevents them from hosting games. Lithuania will be at home against Czech Republic. Netherlands will host Italy. Portugal will host Montenegro. Bosnia and Herzegovina will be home against Bulgaria. France will entertain Hungary. And then later in the week on Thursday, Ukraine will take on Spain in a game that had been postponed. Now it's gotten really interesting. In fact, when we go to Croatia back at the line, the player that just missed a couple of free throws misses another one. And now Finland have a chance to win the game, if you can believe it, with 12.3 seconds left. So everything is hanging in the balance in Croatia. Meanwhile, everything is hanging in the balance on this decision that we're awaiting about whether or not this game is going to continue. I feel like I've aged a year. It's been a crazy old few years for everybody with COVID and everything else. So from that standpoint, we're just glad that we're having basketball games, and we're not going to complain about anything. We just want to get on with it. But looking at, I'm trying to interpret the expressions and everything else of the players on the court. I suppose also what you have to bear in mind when they're making this decision is, you know, the reality is the fans have come to the game. You know, it's on TV. So there are a lot of people that are affected by this decision, and that's why they're putting their heads together and trying to come up with the right decision, and that's the important thing. So you do want to take your time and take the right decision. And I guess you want to consult the teams. What do you want to do? What do you think is the best thing to do? Get their feedback. And ultimately, I'm not sure who ultimately makes the decision, if it's the commissioner in consultation with FIBA back in Geneva. Lauri Markkanen has just taken a three-pointer and made it from the right corner with 4.3 seconds to go to put Finland on top of Croatia 81-79, and that means that the party is starting to rev up in Stockholm for their basketball players, who, despite losing a heartbreaker today against Sweden, have a chance now to go to the second round. And Croatia potentially are going to miss out unless they can tie it and force overtime. And you can't make this craziness up, to be honest. It's been an interesting window, I have to say. Dramatic results. It's been great seeing so many players come back. I was so fired up tonight to watch this Belgium team. And it looks like they're heading back to the locker room. So I don't know, folks. I'm waiting to hear. As soon as I hear, I'm going to let you know. Seems like somebody's been told something. We didn't see the referee. The camera was off at a rather important juncture, but I think he might have waved the game off.
Poštovana publiko, doneta je konačna odluka za večerašnji meč. Utakmica se odlaže za sutra u 19 časova.
I really feel bad for the fans if the game has been called off because they've waited.
Sačuvajte vaše karte I vidimo se sutra od 19 časova.
Now the word that I'm hearing is that they're still going to try to play as the lights do seem stable now, even if not the best. So it looks like we are going to have some basketball. I'm excited. How about you? me, it looks like the fans are leaving. It's not going to be played. So I will let you know ASAP, folks, as soon as I have any type of simple confirmation that this game is not going to be played. If it's not, I really feel a strong bond with these Serbia fans tonight, because they gave up their nights to come out to watch the game, and they waited. And all you can say is you feel for them. They're part of the basketball family, and you just hope that they'll be able to come to the next game, and that it's held when all of these people can get to the game. Meanwhile, Finland appeared to have won, although they're reviewing something in their game against Croatia. So Bojan Bogdanovic took a potential game-winning three. He missed it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Looks like maybe somebody's been fouled and they're going to go to the line in Croatia. But anyway, still waiting for official confirmation as to what to tell you as to whether or not this game is going on. It seemed like the fans have left, so unless they're saying that the lights are stable and they might so it could be that the players have gone back to the changing rooms, and they are going to come back and play if they feel like the lights are stable and they can continue. Okay, so now it appears the game has indeed been postponed. Okay, so it's been postponed, I think, until tomorrow. So the game, I think, has been postponed, and trying to get confirmation, folks. I don't want to give you the wrong impression if you want to leave. So I can say, folks, that tonight the game has been postponed, which is not surprising considering all the fans have left. And so thanks for sticking around and watching. Serbia and Belgium both 3-2, playing on game day 6, trying to get this thing done. Just as a recap, we were 3 minutes into the game and all of a sudden there was a problem with the lights and they went out. So the players and the fans, the players retreated to the benches and the electricians tried to get the lights going again. I assume it was electricians. The lights started to come on again and then they went out, and then the lights came back on. They were stable and it seemed like they were going to think about trying to finish the game, but I think the decision has been made that there will not be any game tonight, and then I think tomorrow the decision will be made on when the game will be played. So anyway, folks, thanks. Unfortunately, thanks for watching, and thanks for watching the European qualifiers. Belgium and Serbia has been postponed because of technical difficulties. The lights went out and it's a complicating factor, and we will look forward to bringing you this game when it is played. So just keep your eyes on announcements. I know that you can go on FIBA.basketball, and there will be an announcement on FIBA.basketball as soon as possible about when this game is played. It's going to be played, if it's going to be played tomorrow or if it's going to be played later in the week or at some other time. But I would assume, since Belgium is here, they're going to try to play this game while they are here. I know that probably complicates things for some people, but anyway, there should be something official on the FIBA.basketball website tomorrow. So keep your ears posted, keep your eyes on that, and also local news sources, and you'll find out the next step. So anyway, thanks very much, everybody, again, and apologies that the game wasn't played tonight, but it's not the end of the world. We'll get this game played sooner rather than later. Belgium playing at Serbia tonight in the European qualifiers, and the game has been postponed. Thanks for tuning in.